What's up, guys? Crazy Black 108 here, and I'm back with another video. Oh my goodness. Star Wars Rebels, Fire Across the Galaxy. I haven't done a Star Wars review since basically this time 2 years ago in terms of a TV show episode. And I think there's no more fitting way than this. And just all things thrown aside, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. You might be spoiled, you might not be spoiled. Who was Fulcrum? You about to find out. Who will fall? You about to find out. My reactions, how I feel. I am so stoked for what this episode means for a potential season, for season 2 and going forward. And if there will be a season 3 or if not, even if it's just 2 seasons, Rebels. When Rebels first came out, let me give you guys a little backlog. I was butthurt that they canceled the Clone Wars. I was butthurt because I thought this show was going to be nowhere near as good. But as time progressed along, I kind of started getting excited for it. I'm like, okay, it's original trilogy era-ish almost. I can kind of get psyched for this. I can kind of get stoked, you know? So, time went on. It came out. The movie, I got the DVD cover right here. Spark of Rebellion. It was good. It was a good start to it, you know, get us introduced to characters. But the thing that I was most impressed with is as the season went along. It was especially after Rise of the Old Masters. From there, it just took off. It just flew in terms of quality of how good it was, the storytelling, even though it wasn't like really multiple arc episodes, but they all somewhat were interconnected with each other. From Ezra and Kanan training and Ezra learning the ways of the Force, to even just little episodes where it involved Hera and Sabine and getting to see their character dynamics. And of course, the big thing that was running throughout the whole season, who is Fulcrum? Which after the crate, and the little image on the crate, that's who I thought it was. That's who I honestly thought it was from that moment. I'm like, oh, that's a little familiar to someone's forehead. That's a little familiar to someone's forehead. That was just, I was like, wow. Okay, so there's a potential here. And we'll get into a bunch of more symbolic things today towards the end, because that's what I'm going to say my final comments for. But the series went on. I just got I was really amazed and impressed with how well it was written, how well how the animation worked out well and still looked great, and just the stories they were telling and what it meant for the bigger implications of the galaxy as a whole. Because seeing in the Clone Wars, the biggest thing to me was that what it meant to the galaxy as a whole wasn't that big of a deal, because we knew that this war starts at episode 2 and ends in episode 3. We knew that clones turned bad because Order 66, yada yada, you know. The only thing that the Clone Wars really had going for it was what happens to Ahsoka. The only thing the Clone Wars has going for it, and still has going for it, is what happens to Darth Maul. You know, who's the Savage Opress character? How's all this tying together? It was very interesting the payoff of how all that eventually ended up turning out. Even though some things never became resolved, like Darth Maul. Or Ahsoka just left the Jedi Order, so she potentially was able to escape Order 66, you know? And so coming into Rebels, you get this cast of characters who, literally every episode, you don't know what's going to happen. They could die, anything could happen to them that could mess things up in the whole grand scheme of things. And it could send things into chaos for them going forward. And getting to I think just a couple of my highlights of the season will definitely be talked about in a season overview. But I'm gonna now just jump straight into Fire Across the Galaxy. Man, from the moment the episode starts with them stealing the transport to figuring out the plan to the callback to the TIE Fighter they hijacked back at Fighter Flight, and to them going to Mustafar, and Mustafar just, we never stepped on the planet, but man, just visually beautiful. The Star Destroyers in front, just, it was very beautiful. Getting on board, figure out the way, going after Kanan, and then the Inquisitor just continually just pecking at Kanan. Just, talk about his master, talking about he's a coward, he's scared, that's why he's weak, he has fear, all these other things. It was crazy. And then all things started to break loose, and they break on board. Ezra's grown so much this season. That's one of the most amazing things about that. Ezra's just really grown into this character that you can look at and like, he did the Ahsoka for me. Ahsoka originally, I was like, Anakin having a Padawan, and she's a little snippy. I'm not sure how I feel about this. But by the end of season 1, and especially by the end of the series, I love Ahsoka as a character. She's literally one of my favorite Star Wars characters. Ezra. Now, he's not one of my favorite Star Wars characters, but wow, I absolutely hated him in Sparkling Rebellion, and I absolutely, completely find him tolerable and pretty cool by the end of the season 1. Great job. That's what they're supposed to do as writers. You're supposed to you're supposed to take a character that I hate and write and develop him so much to the point where I grow with him. I'm like, you know what? You're cool after all, buddy. I can't hate on you. So Ezra ends up breaking in and rescuing Kanan, and they leave, and then as they're leaving, the Inquisitor's there and stops them. Inquisitor and them get in a fight, and Kanan just takes Ezra and just using the blaster piece of Ezra to fire at the Inquisitor and turn the lightsaber blade on. Just Ezra's lightsaber, just very cool in itself. That all fight goes through, but then Ezra uses the Force and tries to try to take him on at the same time, but Ezra's still not very adapted to the ways of the Force and training with the lightsaber, so he gets knocked off the ledge, and Kanan thinks he dies, and because he looks down and thinks he's dead, and so Kanan grabs her lightsaber and he's telling the Inquisitor, "Oh, you've went messed up now." And the Inquisitor's like, "Why is that?" "Because now I have nothing left to fear." And basically saying the only thing he was fearful of was losing the people that he loved again, was having Ezra die. But now that Ezra is dead, you took away the only thing that he could fear, so I'm going to go all out now. And so he just goes at the Inquisitor and just, he says to the Inquisitor, "I realize there's something more powerful than I think he said, than fear, and it's the Force." And he concentrates with the Force to pinpoint, and he sticks the lightsaber. Originally, I thought he shot it, because I saw a screen cap from the preview. I thought he shot the Inquisitor's lightsaber with the gun, but actually he sticks the two blades in between the spinning hilt, and he just cuts it in half, and it destroys the Inquisitor's lightsaber, which the blades are still ignited because of the way that his lightsaber has the lock on it, to keep the blades ignited when he throws it. And so it falls down into the hyperdrive and the reactors, and it starts to explode things, and stuff starts to blow up. And the Inquisitor is hanging on for dear life, and he's saying, "You have no clue what you've awakened here today." And Kanan turns off both lightsabers and basically like, "No, I'm not going to kill you." And the Inquisitor says, there are worse things than death. Or there's something like that. There's some worse things than death, something more powerful than death. And so he lets go. And he falls down to right, and he dies. So the Inquisitor is dead. But he's basically committed suicide. But what that leads to is even more crazy. So Chopper left them. Chopper's a psycho. I'm just gonna be honest, dude. Chopper's body count is the highest for the season, and he just left the whole crew. But he left the whole crew to get Fulcrum because he knew, oh, this ain't gonna work, fam. This ain't gonna work out. So Fulcrum comes along with transmission of Bail Organa, and they come and they rescue. They got the two Corellian freight cruisers that are like the Tantive 4 type of cruiser, and then you have the Ghost. Someone's piloting the Ghost. I don't know who was flying it. I'll tell you in a second who was flying it. And they escape. Kanan and Ezra leave, and the TIE interceptor that the Inquisitor had, while Hera, Sabine, and Zeb get inside the TIE fighter that they had hijacked, and they fly off, and then they escape. There's a horde of TIE fighters coming after them, and I find it funny when Tarkin had to leave his Star Destroyer. He was kind of almost like, it was funny because like, leave in our moment of triumph. I'm thinking back to episode 4, and then he's just kind of saying like, to go down with the ship, or nah, I'm gonna leave. So it goes and leaves and stuff, and I'm going to tell you how the episode ends, and I'm going to go back to the bigger piece to me, because that's the bigger piece, because that's the part that didn't show. So, I forget his name, it's, Callus. Callus is saying, to Tarkin that, people think the Empire's weak now, because there's Rebel Band, and this and that, and then Tarkin says, we have someone else, to do the job now, because I think Callus was referring to the fact that the Inquisitor is dead now. And who comes off the who comes off the Imperial shuttle other than Darth Vader? And all you hear is a breathing. There's not a single line, nothing. Vader will literally just walks into the screen, and that's it. And then it's Rebels, the title card, the end of the episode. That's what the season. No preview for season 2. No talk about season 2. That's just how it ends. I'm just like, oh my God, Vader. And the biggest reason why Vader is a huge component to this now, because of who Fulcrum is. So, spoiler alert. Fulcrum. Fulcrum is none other than Ahsoka Tano. Just like I had been guessing from the moment that we had got introduced to this character, that Dave Filoni, I like him because you know what? Fine. Ahsoka was one of the characters that he really cared about. And I know that he wasn't too happy about about the Clone Wars ending. When they had other arcs written for Ahsoka, involving her working with the Mandalorians, involving her and I think Lux Monteri even. And Ashley Eckstein said she had even recorded more lines for the Clone Wars. So, Ashley Eckstein was there today. Fulcrum was there today. Ahsoka Tano was flying the Ghost. And there she has even a guard. And I'm guessing what she did was she got hooked up with Bail Organa after all the events of episode 3, after everything was going crazy. And I think, to be honest, this is the most interesting piece of information to pull into this series by having Ahsoka be around right now, because Vader and Ahsoka now. Vader's going to run into Ahsoka. Ahsoka's going to run into Vader, because Ahsoka's not around by episode 4. Literally, every other time, with Ahsoka, we can figure out, Clone Wars, there was some other option they could have. Now there's not another option. Ahsoka's gonna die by the time this series is over. I can't deny it. She will not survive past episode 4. She won't make it to episode 4. She is gonna die, and I believe it's gonna be by Vader, and that's gonna be the biggest piece to just show how evil that Darth Vader is. And I'm looking forward to it. I don't want to see it happen, but I know it'll be written so well and animated so beautifully that it'll be completely fine. Ahsoka, by the way, has 2 lightsabers still. She still has a Shuto lightsaber and a regular lightsaber blade. They're just 2 new ones, because in case you forgot, in the arc, she lost both her lightsabers when she fought Barriss and then got arrested. So, but older Ahsoka, I'm about to overlay an image of her. Man! Okay, right here, we have Ahsoka, Clone Wars, the future version of herself she saw on Mortis. Now, we have the image of Ahsoka from Rebels. My mind is blown! Ahsoka's alive! She's in Rebels! Her story continues! Fulcrum! So beautiful! Star Wars Rebels, guys. I have to say that this turned out to be the best thing. Now, Symbolism, real quick, just to let you know, it's, my favorite place to follow on Twitter is Star Wars Rebels Report, because they always, Rebels Report always posts stuff involving Rebels, and the coolest thing that they posted earlier was on March 2nd, 2013, Ahsoka left the Jedi Order. That's when the final episode of the Clone Wars aired on TV, on Cartoon Network. On March 2nd, 2015, Ahsoka comes back to the Star Wars universe in Star Wars Rebels, and is revealed to be the character Fulcrum. Who knew that this character that would be written and developed back during an era where we thought she never could have existed, would develop into something so big? And then, my biggest thing is that when you look at it now, Ahsoka sparked the rebellion. Ahsoka is one of the originators of the Rebel Alliance. Man, that's pretty cool. I want to thank you all for watching this video. Fulcrum is Ahsoka Tano. I knew it! I knew it. So happy to have this episode come out now. So hyped. Bring on Season 2 of Star Wars Rebels. And I believe the rumor now for sure that Vader, Ahsoka, and Palpatine are all in the Season 2 premiere. Man. I want to thank you all for watching. Until next time, may the Force be with you guys always. Bye.